Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. Na peru Sudhir Bandaru, for a Board of Trustees. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. ఏమైతుంది yesterday from this webinar. Na peru Sudhir Bandaru, Board of Trustees from American Telugu Association. Thank you for joining today on this webinar. American Telugu Association from 1990 is one of the oldest organizations in America. Thank you for joining today on this webinar. American Telugu Association మన సంస్కృతిని 1990 is one of the oldest organizations in America. Thank you for joining today on this webinar. American Telugu Association మన సంస్కృతిని 1990 is one of the oldest organizations in America. Thank you for joining today on this webinar. American Telugu Association. అమెరికన్ తెలుగు అసోసియేషన్ మన సంస్కృతిని, మన సాహిత్యాన్ని, మన భాషని కాపాడుకునే ప్రయత్నంగా స్థాపించబడింది. It's one of the oldest organizations that started in 1990. We, as our motto says, passion for culture, compassion for people. Culture ni కాపాడుతూ, traditions ని కాపాడుతూ, అదే విధంగా మన people ని how we help our community services ద్వారా కూడా ఆట ఎన్నో కార్యక్రమాలు చేస్తుంది. Some of our flagship services involve like youth scholarship, adopt a village, supporting underprivileged in US also, and also back in our Telugu states, educational seminars, webinars, and recently andaku telesinade manam we are going through a tough time through COVID. So ATA has been in front end to help whatever is needed back home and also back here to whatever we could do. ATA also does a lot of trainings so that the youth gets all the help that is needed. And one of the biggest thing that ATA biannually conducts is conferences of ATA, which have been a showcases for the organization and for Telugu community all across the United States. In 2022, ATA is going to have its 17th convention and conference and youth convention in Washington, D.C. As a convener for that convention, I invite all of you to be part of it on this historic event, which was not done in DC before. I welcome all of you, and also thanks for joining today for this webinar. And now I would like to get it to Lalita Alladi garu, who is the moderator for this. And also I wanted to thank Madhurima Paturi garu from Paturi Law Firm, who is our immigration committee chair. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lalita Alladi, and I'm an immigration attorney with JMG Law Firm in Atlanta, Georgia. And it is my pleasure to moderate this event today. And I'd like to introduce to you immigration attorney Madhurima Paturi, and a very close friend of mine. She is the owner of Paturi Law and the immigration chair of the American Telugu Association. The purpose of our event today is to talk to you about some of the policy updates with USCIS and how many of these updates may help you in the years to come. So with that, I want to introduce Madhurima Paturi.
Oh, thank you, Lalita. It's always glad to work with you. And thank you for that, always bringing up the updates on the immigration to our members and the viewers. I think it's one of the organizations we want to keep it up to date the news, so it will be easily accessible to everyone. So the main focus today is to focus on the policy update, which was happened 3 days ago on June 9th. On the part of the Biden-Harris administration, another thing they want to prioritize to eliminate whatever the barriers for the process of getting into the legal immigration. So there are obviously, as you all most of know, that there's a lot of delays in the processing times. There is a biometrics delays. There is a delays in the issuing the EAD cards and getting the green cards and all those things. So the administration is more focused just to try to eliminate those barriers, which we can reduce those processing times and try to see that if we can eliminate. So the three important things, which was I could say there is some changes or updates from the previous policy memos. Or one of the things is when to call for the expedite processing, So what are the criteria to look into the expedite processing? I know during the COVID, there is a delays for the H4EADs and the travel documents. So a lot of people are concerned that when is the right time to call, when do we actually update this thing, So they clarified on those things. I'll get into details more on that. And the second one is improving in when to issue the RFEs and the NOIDs, So the biggest change, this one is happening more like going back into the 2013 policy. We'll talk a little bit about what happened in 2013 and what happened in 2018 and why we are going back to 2013. And the last one, which is a very good news for a lot of our community members, is the validity of the EADs, So it's not a year anymore, it's going to be 2 years, which is huge. As you all know that especially last year, the EAD itself is pending for over a year, that's not really helpful. By the time you receive a card, almost you are done with the validity, or sometimes there are a few cases that the validity period is already ended, So that doesn't help anything, So to cut down the processing times and cut down the whole process itself, they wanted to do it as a 2-year limit, so which would help and also gives a break for everyone, enough time to file for the renewals later. So getting into the expedite processing, so they do have the criteria that how they want to do this one. When you have the financial loss, either to the employer, the
Madhurima garu, 1 second. మీ వాయిస్ టోటల్ లైవ్ లో కరెక్ట్ రావట్లేదు, చాలా ఎకో వస్తుంది. మీరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకొని మీరు హెడ్ ఫోన్స్ గిట్ట తీసేసి డైరెక్ట్ ల్యాప్టాప్ తో మాట్లాడండి. యువర్ వాయిస్ ఇస్ నాట్ క్లియర్.
Is it? Okay. That better?
ఒకసారి మాట్లాడండి మధురిమ గారు.
Yeah, can we go back now?
Okay.
Okay, we're talking about the criteria of the when we can expedite the process. So when there's a financial loss for the company or the person in the cases of like H4 EAD, it's more than the company, the family may be suffering with the financial loss, you know. That could be one of the reasons you can update, you know. So if there is a reason for emergency and urgent humanitarian reasons, like somebody is going through a medical reasons that they need to get updated the EAD or get into the medical benefits and those kind of things. You know, if there is a reason for those kind of emergency and humanitarian reasons, please don't be concerned calling for the expedite process. The worst could happen with expedite processes, they can deny, you know, but you can always, you should try. Before you try, always make sure that you have a reason behind it. There is a financial loss, there is a humanitarian reason, there is an emergency behind that. And there's also a couple of things like the non-profit organizations can update without the premium, and there's the US government can update different departments. And there is a, I don't know, is still an issue with the voice?
Yeah, so yeah, we're definitely understanding what you're saying about you know, the three main updates, right? To summarize what you've said so far as your intro, you talked about the fact that there is expedited processing that is available. You mentioned that there is a change to the EAD policy that, you know, people who are in adjustment of status, if normally when they were getting a 1-year EAD during that adjustment of status, now they're going to start issuing 2-year EADs so that they don't have to reapply so quickly, right? You mentioned that. And then you also talked about a third issue, and that's to do with these RFEs and the NOIDs that are being issued, the notice of intent to deny. So you've explained so well that they're now actually giving you the second chance to respond by issuing that RFE or NOID instead of immediately denying a case right at the face of the what was submitted initially. In a way, it's almost a second chance. So how would you say this is all going to improve the how would you say this is all going to improve the rate of processing for everyone?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there was a bit of an echo. Yeah, they've paused.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
I'm trying to connect through my phone. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we seem to be able to hear you better on. Oh, okay, but you're using a different device now.
Right.
Okay.
That better?
Hi. Okay, so here we are. Excellent. Thank you, Madhurima, for rejoining. We've got it all back on track. So, you know, as I was saying before, just summarizing your intro and the three topics, right? So having discussed these three topics, how do you think that this is going to overall change the rate of processing going forward? How is it going to help, you think?
It's definitely going to be a huge change, especially cutting down the EADs, right, from 1 year to 2 years. So they're like 370,000 applications pending at this time, you know. So every year processing that many EADs, it's only get delayed. That now we are spreading to 1 year to 2 years. So we are talking about every other year we're getting those things. So obviously
Anything? Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry about that, Madhu, but just let me ask you once more. I don't want our audience to miss out on the valuable information you're providing. So again, how do you think that these 3 policy changes affect the rate of processing by USCIS for cases going forward?
Sorry about all the technical problems. Okay, getting back into the topic, definitely it could change huge as without any expert, you will know that EADs change it from the 1-year validity to the 2-year validity. That itself would change the processing times. And there is also the biometrics was taken out for the H4s and the other dependents like the E visas, L visas, the dependents of those visas, the biometrics were removed. That itself also add up to the processing times, lesser time. Like last year, as you think of a lot of people, H4 and H4E, EAD, it took anywhere from the 8 months to 1 year, and still people are waiting for their EADs to come in. That's a huge, huge wait time, So that could all definitely change and lower the processing times. So I think that answering the question, we can move on. One more thing in the expedite processing is a lot of people are asking because of the COVID and the situations happening in India. They're all concerned about the family back in the country, and there are a lot of people are asking, especially the people who applied the adjustment of status during the last October. They're still either waiting for the biometrics to be done, or they're waiting for the EAD or the AP to be coming in. So they're so concerned about what can we do? If we go out, can we lose our opportunity? If you do already receive the receipts, and you have the biometrics, you can always call to the USCIS and ask for the info pass and tell about what's the emergency. You can get the stamping at the USCIS local office, which gives you to travel. It's almost like, it's the same thing as a travel permit, which is the advance parole. You can go to the USCIS office and get the stamping. So you can, can go and come back without obstructing anything on the I-485 application. It's the same thing as the EAD and the advance parole, but you're going to use that for the travel permit. So all you need to know is the reason behind it, and you have to have a document to prove that what is the reason you are asking for that emergency advance parole. That's with the expedite processing. Moving on to the RFEs and notice of intent to deny. So it's, as you all know that in 2018, they rescinded the policy from 2013. Basically, they don't want to give a chance for you to correct in the applications if there is a possibility. So they were telling that if there is, it's almost like we are not going to wait for you to provide later. You should have provided in the beginning. Because you didn't provide in the beginning, there is no possibility. So we're going to deny your application. That's what the 2018, basically they rescinded that one from the 2013, where there was given an opportunity to correct that one through the RFEs. And by giving the notice of intent to deny. In 2018, it's almost like impossible. So many H-1Bs, so many other applications, we couldn't able to correct. Even it's a simple mistake, it's a denial, So good thing is now we are going back into the 2013 policy. They were given the chance to you before they're going to deny the application. They were giving you one more opportunity to correct that one. But you should always provide the information ahead of the time as much as you can. Don't wait for the RFE, RFE is a chance for you to correct few things, but don't try to make a mistakes in the application itself. It's extra, either providing the documentation that you don't have it before, or you're waiting for some documentation. Like in most of the cases right now with adjustment of status, this birth certificate is missing, right? So you're trying to get that birth certificate while you wait for the whole thing, but you don't want to wait the visa bulletin to move up. Your number is up, so you want to apply the application. Go ahead and apply, but don't wait for that birth certificate because the numbers could change. But now good thing is you can wait for that and get that birth certificate during the process. And if the RFE comes, you could provide. But before, it's not even a choice. Like a lot of the important documents has to be provided. If not, it's going to be automatically denied. So it's not just the birth certificate. I'm just saying the example of it, but most of the documents and those kind of things, like it's important. There's a typographical errors in the application that's need to be updated and all those things. But always, regardless of the memos, always try to provide all the information ahead of the time. And the last one is obviously, it's a good news, the EADs. We all know that we're all happy from 1 year to the 2 years, the validity period has changed. And it's for the people who are waiting for the adjustment of status to become in. It will be benefited hugely for our community, being so many people are in the process of adjustment of status. Just last year during the October, there was hundreds and thousands of the applications were pending who will be waiting to get the EADs or renewing the EADs. We are all going to get the 2 years going forward from now. These are the important policy changes. Basically, it's trying to improve the immigration service overall. That's the goal behind of all these things. Other than that, what's happening at the consulate? Nothing much huge. You know that they're still closed. They're not open to the regular business hours. But you can still apply for the NIE, National Interest Exemption, if you qualify for it. Make sure that you have a documentation regarding to that. You can email it to that. There is a certain written format. You can write to the consulate officer requesting for that. If they say yes, then you send the passport with all the documentation. Then obviously they're going to update the whole thing. Other thing with the consulate, the important update is with F1 students. If somebody tried to make an appointment the week before, and most of them received the appointments in February next year, but I encourage all of them, go back into the consulate website and try to reschedule the appointment, because they're supposed to be opening the new dates for the students who are coming back, or for somebody who is going to start in August. So try to go back and see that if you can get the new appointment date, which is more closer, so you can join for the fall. And also, as you know, we did the webinar month ago about the travel ban. So the NIE is automatically applicable to the who are on OPT starting from July. NIE is also applicable for the students who are coming in the fall admissions. So look into that, but make sure that you have a valid visa before you come in. That's the most important thing. Other than that, I think we can jump into the questions to see what's there. Then we can discuss more into it.
Yeah, so yeah, if any of our viewers have any questions, please do put them on the YouTube area and the chat area so that I'll read them out to Madhurima Paturi. But meanwhile, I wanted to touch on two things you were talking about, Madhu. You know, when you were mentioning don't wait for an RFE or NOID, go ahead and submit as many of the documents as possible. I think we can't stress that point enough, because especially if you're concerned about delays, right? You don't want your processing time to take longer. Make the case as easy as possible and provide all of the documents to them in advance, right? I mean, that's something we all advise, because if you have it, we want to provide it. Let's not say, hey, don't worry, we can provide it later. That is not real purpose of the RFE or the NOID. That's really,
yeah, it's a worst situation. You're waiting for the worst situation in case of happens, like, but don't wait just for the RFE kind of sake, you know?
Yeah, don't count always on that second chance, even though you may get it.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then also when you were talking about the EADs and how they're now processing, they're giving you a 2-year EAD instead of a 1-year EAD. Even for those who may not be in an adjustment of status case, you know, the understanding in our immigration community is it's going to help alleviate caseload in general for USCIS. So even if you don't have a green card EAD case being processed, you're not the only group that's being, what should I say? That's benefiting, because even if you have, let's say, an H-1B that's being processed or H-4, USCIS can now concentrate on some of the other cases as well, right? Would you
Yes,
agree with that?
definitely. It improves the whole, yeah, definitely agree with that. It improves the whole overall system of the any kind of the application, even like a citizenship, right? Right
Yeah.
now, depend upon the local office, it's taking over a year. People who applied at the end of the 2019 or early 2020 wouldn't expect that this the COVID is going to hit, right? People are waiting for those things over a year right now. That could all change now. The process will go a little faster. I mean, that overall, it doesn't matter, as you said, that
Right.
which application it is. Everybody could benefit with this.
Right. And also, we don't usually get very political, but we know that at the same time, immigration does rely on who's in office right now. And right now, the current president has said that he wants to do as much as possible to alleviate some of these, stress points in our immigration processing, and not to have these unnecessary delays, correct? So he's following that,
Yes.
wouldn't you say? Right now, these policies are in line with what he's said.
Yes.
And also
definitely.
he mentioned making it more accessible also to those who are trying to apply for immigration benefits. And wouldn't you say the RFE and the NOID policy that just came out is also in line with that?
Of course. And the earlier, the whole H-1B memos got rescinded, like all this employer-employee relationship, and this without the client letter or the project information that you're not getting for 3 years, so you're getting only the time limit of what's given in the work schedule. All those memos was rescinded earlier, that definitely helps hugely, because these are all the process of in the legal immigration, they're already in the legal path, so all they're trying to do is they're trying to improve the system so that legal in that particular group can be benefited more better than unnecessary delays with this RFEs, NOIDs, and short-term approvals, which is not necessary. So obviously that's the goal of this administration, trying to make the process easier for the legal immigration.
Right. Yeah, so it looks like our viewers are very satisfied with your explanations, because they don't have any questions at the moment. But I'm sure if they do, they will shoot Atta an email and can get in touch with you. If they have any questions related to these types of processing delays, or I should say now more expedited and faster processing. So
Great.
With that, do you have any concluding remarks?
No, I think it's fine. I think Anil is telling that there is some questions.
Yeah, okay, I will check, but when I looked, I didn't see it. I'm going to check once more in case we're just behind. Yeah, right now it looks like, everybody's watching and they can hear you well, and they heard the questions.
Okay, while you look up the questions, I just want to update the viewers something regarding to the adjustment of status and the priority dates and the visa bulletin and all those things. I'm focusing here more into the employment-based, focusing into the India specifically. India employment-based, we're talking about the EB2 and EB3. I know there is so much going on, like we're all predicting that the numbers will move in next few months, especially in by the time of the October. It should be a huge deal like last year, because of the consulates are still closed. The numbers are pouring in from the consulate to adjust the status, and the filing dates can become current for a lot of people. That could be true, but everybody has to wait still for the visa bulletin to become available, which is usually available like at least 10 days before the prior month. So look after for the visa bulletin, which is very, very important. We can all predict whatever we want. We all have to rely still for the visa bulletin. The other thing is get ready with the documentation. I know we are all encouraging as an attorneys to get ready with the documentation, but the most important thing, which is very, very useful, is don't try to get the medical examination. I know it's very required document, important document to put it with the adjustment of status. Don't try to get the medical examination ahead of the time, because once the doctor signs, there is a time limit that you have to submit within the 60 days to 90 days. Like, you have to provide that information and file with the immigration, file with the USCIS. So don't waste money. It's a lot of money to get to the medical examination, depend upon which doctor, where you are, and all those kind of the things. Get ready with the rest of the documentation, supporting documentation, like a birth certificate, marriage certificates, your documents, transcript, and those things. But don't try to get the medical certificate. That's one of the piece of the information I want to give and advice, which could save a lot of money for all of you.
Yeah, that is excellent advice, because sometimes they have to go and get it done a second time or get it updated. So that is excellent advice for our viewers. So with that, I wanted to thank you, Madhurima, for advising us and giving us updates.
Lalita, we have a lot of questions in the YouTube.
Okay, well, right now I'm on YouTube, and I'm
Which
on
YouTube
Facebook
you have?
Live. I'm on Facebook Live. Here's so we can check out YouTube too. My apologies, I will check that. If you have questions, that's great.
Lalita, we have a lot of questions in the YouTube.
Okay. Okay, well, right now I'm on YouTube and check. Okay, here we go. I'm on Facebook Live. Here's
Yeah, meanwhile, the first question is, can we apply for Expedited EAD processing from beginning?
From where?
From the start, can we ask for expedited processing? Like, not just while the case is pending, but from the start, can we ask for it?
I mean that if it is an emergency, but usually that expedited processing is more for the renewals, it could help. But immediately, I don't know what kind of the emergency you have. If it is a humanitarian reason, probably you could get, but financial loss is hard to show if it is an initial EAD.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sudhir, can you read the questions, please? Yeah, the second question basically I have is, do we have any NIE template? Can an IT consulting company provide the NIE for H1 stuck in India?
There are the templates with the attorneys. I don't know who wants to provide that, but it's simply requesting with the reason and explaining about the employer infrastructure, what kind of the essential work they're doing it, trying to put the important things together in a letter requesting the employer, in requesting the officer, and also mentioning about the employee, why the employee particularly needed for that particular work, which would benefit for the infrastructure of the employee. So there is no particular format. You can look into the consulate. They have some synopsis. You can use that one to make a letter.
So can you take from here?
I think there was another question, like I'm just going over. What do you do when the status notice was returned to USCIS because the post office could not deliver it, when we are sure nothing was delivered? So the question was, what to do when you see a status of notice was returned to USCIS because the post office could not deliver it?
So did you change the address? Is the first thing you need to check, or look into the application. Did you provided the right information? Is anything wrong with the apartment number, or those kind of the things? But either way, you already didn't receive, right? You can go to the uscis.gov and you are looking for processing times or case status check in the home page. Then from there, you can find there is a tab for the inquiry, case inquiry. There is an option, if you didn't deliver it on time, you can put your details in there and request for a copy, depend upon whose fault it is. If it is a USCIS fault, they can deliver it to you again. But if it is a change of address, go ahead and do the AR11, which is an online, the application change of address. But do it that one, also do the online inquiry that you didn't receive the notification.
Thank you. Thank you. Another question, it says, do you advise to submit the medicals and I-485 supplement J without RFE for those PD is current?
Yeah, you can definitely do the interfiling. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go back and see if you answered the question. How to handle
while you're
birth
while you're doing that, Lalita, are you able to go to the
No,
YouTube?
I'm looking and I'm not able to find this
very
video.
long process to correct.
Is that ATA YouTube? Can you check?
Yeah, I put American Telugu Association.
Submit BC with affidavit. That's the question.
Sorry, Sudhir Garu, you may have to repeat that question. I couldn't hear.
How to handle mistakes in birth certificate? It is very long process to correct birth certificate in AP and TL. Can we submit birth certificate with affidavit?
You can definitely do. I don't know, it's depend upon the type or how bad it is. You know, you can always provide the secondary evidence, which is, we all know that 2 affidavits from the different people. And also, if you have other documents, civil documents like a passport or some kind of the authenticated documents from the US, Indian government, or any documents from the US, which shows the correct name, identify that one, like even like a secondary birth certificate, I mean that secondary mark sheets, right? You know, all of our mark sheets has the names in that, you know, highlight those things where the documents has the correct name, and do mention about the typo, and do have the couple of affidavits that could rectify the problem. But in the meantime, while you apply with all these things, you still try to apply the updated birth certificate. I know it takes a long time. So who knows when the adjustment of status is going to finalize. In the meantime, you can provide the secondary evidence and highlight that one with the right name on it.
Okay, thank you. There was a question, a couple of people asked the same question. How about the interview waiver for employment-based green card and the regular green card? So I don't know what exactly they mean, but they just want to say, how about the interview waiver for employment-based green card?
You don't automatically get the waiver for the interview. I don't know the specific question here. What is the difference they're asking? You know, there are certain circumstances there is a waiver, like if they're old enough, like if they just exempt that, there is no need for the waivers. There is no need for them to come in person to the interview. But employment-based interview waivers we are seeing them. Actually, a lot of people are getting the green cards without interviews. Obviously, I don't think so any employment-based interviews we did see this year yet, you know, in person, you know. Hopefully that's gone. So that helps again for the processing times to just get the green card at home. You don't have to go show up at the immigration office. We are all hoping for that.
Thank you. I think there's one scenario they were trying to explain. So I applied for a green card in EB3 in October 2020 and got GCEAD in January 2021 for the whole family. And my priority date is November 2014. And following up on that, my husband also applied for GC in November 2020. His final action date is current now. If I use my GCEAD and if my husband gets a green card, can I switch to my husband's green card?
If your husband has a final action date, I'm guessing that you're all going to get the green card right away. And that EAD is not even a question here, right? You know, it's only the time right now, if it is a final action date, all you're waiting is to get the green card to be in the mail. Once you get the green card through your husband, you're just going to use that one. It doesn't matter the EAD was used previously for other filing. I guess I'm guessing that she has her own green card filing right now, which the EAD was used through that. Is that the question?
Hopefully that, yeah, I think hopefully that answers what they're doing. Another one is with an India employment-based I-485 pending AP, can we travel out of country? If yes, so the AP period is valid with new process. Is AP period valid with new process?
If you have the AP, you can travel. I don't know what is the validity they're talking about. The validity is usually on the card. Yeah. You can travel and come back within the time period.
Pending AP, but again, if you still, Let me read it again. So see if we could make with an India employment-based I-485 pending advanced payroll AP, can we travel out of country? That's a pretty much the question.
Oh, you mean that maybe they're asking it related to the travel ban, I guess.
Maybe.
You can go to India, but when you wanted to come back, still the process is the same thing. You have to meet the criteria for the travel ban. You need to have either permanent residency or citizenship, or you need to have the kid with a US citizen. The travel ban exception still applies to you. So you can't just go and come back, but you can leave the country, but you have to come back when the travel ban is lifted unless you meet one of the criteria.
Okay. My son missed biometrics appointment because of STAR test at school. We asked for reschedule. I didn't get an update from USCIS. Bio is for H1 extension. So I think they're asking like how long it takes maybe, or what happens if they miss biometrics.
Is it for the H4? Are they asking for H4?
It's for H1 extension. Bio is for H1 extension. I think
No, there is no biometrics for the H1B extension. Or are they asking for in India? Are they talking about in the United States or in India?
Yes. I think he says my son missed biometrics appointment because I think his H1 extension, his or her H1 extension, and his son has to go for biometrics, looks like.
There is no biometrics for the H1B. If I'm guessing that they're talking about their kid who is on H4, who needs to get done the biometrics. They missed that one. So if they missed it recently, then they don't have to worry about it because the whole biometrics was taken away now anyways, you know?
She just asked, like when I think she's listening, she said H4 is what I think the extension is for.
Yeah, if it is after May 13th, it was missed, then I shouldn't be worried. Anyway, the biometrics was taken away right now.
Okay, good. There was a couple of questions on the security checks, like how long it takes for security checks and what is the processing time?
I don't think so. It's even $1 million question. It's probably worth more than $1 million. Nobody knows the answer for that.
Okay. Yes. My mom applied for her brother and his application was approved in 2006, but USCIS had different address on files. So can he able to come to US on the same files, or does he has to apply for a new file?
No, if it is just an address change, they can update that with the Department of State.
I think this is the last question I have so far. I applied for EB3 downgrade in October 2020. I did not receive any biometrics appointment or EAD. What can I do to expedite my case?
If you didn't receive the biometrics itself, nothing much you can do. You know, if the biometrics is done, then we can talk about the expedite something else. Unfortunately, you just have to wait for the biometrics.
Thank you. I think that answered most of the questions. I don't know if I missed anything, but that's pretty much we have right now on YouTube.
Yeah, Lalita ji, you can give the closing comments and then hand over to Ravi.
There is one more question. If we have time, can we answer that?
Sure.
Priority date October 2009 on an advanced payroll and EAD. 2021 March priority date current and asked for adjection of 485. Got a reply case in processing and biometric cancel. What are the next steps?
So biometrics was canceled?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
They need to provide more details, you know. If they have the validity until 2021, why do they need a new biometrics?
Yeah. Okay, and then I think probably they can get back with more clarity. They can get back to you at your law firm. And question regarding an advanced payroll: if we have a pending 485 and pending advanced payroll, after having new I-94 after successful abroad trip, would the AP processing still valid since we have a new I-94?
Did you travel with the advanced parole or did you travel with the H-1B is the question. Which one you use to leave the country is most important thing you need to think about.
I think based on the question, it says pending advanced payroll. So I don't think so. They might have received the advanced payroll.
Okay, so what's their question about the I-94?
So after having an I-94, would the AP processing still valid since we have a new I-94? So I think they're trying to say like for already they might have given an old I-94. Do they have to give a new I-94 again?
Oh, no. They have it in the system, yeah.
Can parents with B1 visa come to US right now?
No. Travel ban.
Yeah.
Unless they can go to the different country and stay for 14 days or come.
I think from another question, my final action date is current now and did not receive green card EAD. Will USCIS send green card directly or will USCIS send GC EAD first and then GC?
Yeah, it's always the EAD. If you applied for the EAD and the travel document, that's the first thing you'll expect most of the time.
Okay. USC is not accepting premium processing for EB3 downgrades for case with priority dates in 2012 and 2013, where employees stay with the same company. How to proceed here? My date may become current.
USCIS is not processing, that's what they say?
That's what they're saying. He's saying he's not accepting premium processing for EB3 downgrades for cases with priority dates in 2012 and 2013, where employees stayed with the same company.
Regardless, what they're trying to do is it's an overwhelming process. As you all know that in October, so many applications was filed for the downgrade or adjustment of status and all those things. So there were a period, very short period in the beginning, they did accept the premium, we got approved right away. In my experience, I'm talking about, the later when we got more like a January, February timing, they started getting the packages returned, the premium packages are returned, saying that they don't have the original perm located, So, which we resubmitted again. You may have to do that once you have that one, saying that there is no need for the original perm need to be included when there is a downgrade or upgrade, because the original perm was already submitted to the USCIS. So your employer or the attorney can resubmit that with explaining the reason that there is no reason for the perm, original perm. You should locate that, and this is a service center it was sent to originally, and send the original I-140 submission and also the recent I-140 receipt, and try to explain the situation and resubmit that one. Most of the success happened when we did the resubmission, but most of the first requests for the premium all got rejected recently, explaining that they didn't locate the original perm.
Okay, can I apply for citizenship? I'm out of US more than 6 months, but less than 1 year in the last 5 years.
Yeah, there is a particular criteria you have to meet. As you all know that you have to maintain at least 6 months residency in the United States, but if you have a valid reason, it should be more very emergency humanitarian reason, not very plain reason. If you still maintain your residency or you some kind of the ties in the United States, showing that you're a resident for the United States, combining with some other factors, you could probably try to apply, yes.
Okay, thank you. I have applied for a green card for my mom via consular processing. He's asking how does that work, or I'm a US citizen. He just wants to know how does that work.
I guess it's hard to evaluate that kind of the things in this call. But one thing I can throw it to you is make sure that you show strong ties to go back to the country. That's always one of the best reason to get approved.
Okay. I think we had a question about the family thing they were asking, right? They put another thing that the final action date is current and they have asked for adjection of 485. What are the next steps?
Who asked? They asked for the.
No, I have asked for addiction. So I think the person she or he asked for the addiction of 485.
Yeah, that's a follow-up question from Harini Singh Reddy. Like previously, they asked like priority date October 2009 on advanced payroll and EAD 2021 March priority date. So they are giving a follow-up question on that.
Okay, so I mean that you don't have to do anything. If your date is current, USCIS knows in the system that they have to produce the card for the permanent residency. You don't have to request anything particular, but I mean that it's automatically can be done. I don't know if you have any particular question, just write to the ATA. I'm happy to talk to you later on that.
Yeah, Harini Singh Reddy garu, we'll follow up with you. I think we can probably get you connected with Madhurima garu, and then we will send you the information, Harini garu. I think on a follow-up question, I think you answered that already. For the parents, can they come on B1 and they're asking a follow-up? Can they go to UK, stay there for 14 days and come to US?
I don't think so. UK is a great option, but there are some countries we identified. Every attorney had researched themselves. We do have a list now. Probably, I'm sure somebody put in the Google or YouTube all the hard work of somebody. They might have confined the list. So one of the popular thing coming to the United States are people are going to the Mexico. You don't need a separate visa to go to the Mexico, or some countries you don't have to have a separate visa for that particular country as long as you have the visa for the United States. You can halt there for 14 days and do the quarantine, whatever you have to do. Then you can fly back to the United States. There are so many countries we identified, up to 30 different countries. Yeah, but not directly from there unless there is a humanitarian reason happening, something in the United States. Let's say that something is I don't want to say any particular example here, but if there is a serious and emergency reason, you can definitely try for the NIE, national interest exemption, for the parents also, but it's very less likely to get approved, something like that.
And so follow up on that. So how long do you think that this travel ban is going to be there?
So they update every 30 days by looking at the Department of Health and the health secretary, and everybody has to give the advice to the president. But every 30 days they update that one, either they have to continue next 30 days or no. So obviously we're not sure yet, but definitely I know that what we are hearing, the circumstances are getting better in India. I don't know where we stand on that. We'll just wait and see. Hopefully it will go away in summer.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much we have so far. And I think, thank you. And if you could just give your say out your information, probably they can all take that down, like an email or something, and then they can reach out to you.
You can always send the email to ATA, but if you do want to send to me, my email is madhu, MADHU, at mpaturila.com, and my website is mpaturila.com.
So hopefully all of you guys got that noted down. So, and you can reach out to, and you can always reach out to ATA. And she's our ATA committee, immigration and legal committee chair. So we can always reach out to her, and we can always reach out to you guys. So I think that's pretty much we have.
Okay. Yeah, we are planning to do more of these things whenever there is changes in the immigration, and happy to take the questions and everything to educate the members. Just keep tuning with ATA.
Thank you. Lalita Alladi garu.
Lalita ji, you're on mute.
Thank you, ATA, for giving us this opportunity to talk to your viewers about the immigration updates that have come about. And I want to thank Madhurima Paturi for giving us those updates, because it's so valuable for each person, not only what's happened recently, but combining it with the recent updates from last month. And I think all of them combined are continuing to help our community. And I'm hoping that we have better processing from USCIS, that helps all of us. So thank you, Madhurima. And do you have any final words to end the program today?
I think it was a great event. I'm glad everybody got the information, and hopefully we could able to answer most of the questions. If it is something you need to reach out more, please feel free to contact, and we're happy to serve through that.
And we want Ravi Chellagaru to do the closing. Thanks. Ravi, you're on mute.
Getting unmuted. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madhurima Garu, to taking the time in the busy schedule and helping us ATA community. And you are there for us all the times for immigration chair and immigration issues. And a good start to start with the next for all the issues during this pandemic. Really, really appreciate your help in this. Thank you, and on behalf of ATA, we really appreciate your help. Thank you, Lalita Garu, for taking this time. Maybe some technical issues, but next time we'll do a better job. And thank you very much, because you are going to be a good moderator for us, because you can understand better questions from people, and you can articulate better to Madhu Garu, so that the viewers can get a better answer from us as a ATA community. Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you, Sudhir, for taking this time and getting this into a call. And thanks, Naveen, Praveen, and other team members from the technical team. We really appreciate all your help. On behalf of ATA President Gunesh Bujala Garu, President-elect Madhu Bomineni Garu, and ATA EC, we thank you all very much for making this a success and helping the community, ATA community and Telugu community in this pandemic. Even minute details are helpful to, because the travel ban identi prati chinna vishayam kuda everybody is like anxiety, and they are like looking for information, small input, small help, like a big help for them. So thank you, Madhurima Garu, all people. And we thank you all. Next, we have a big event coming next year. Please save your date for July 1, 2, 3 for ATA conference. And who are all not members on this call, please join ATA and help ATA community and be a ATA family, proud family. Thank you all. Thanks, Andy.